So there are many reasons you may want to sell some of your old Masterpiece Transformers. Maybe you want to get rid of something old that you're tired of because you got something new that you like better. Maybe you want to get together some scratch to buy a new Transformer that is going to look awesome, that you're looking forward to, but is going to be very expensive. Or maybe you just want to buy an older figure with a new updated repaint. We're going to talk about selling Masterpiece Transformers, some similarities to selling other collectibles, but then there's some very specific things to selling Transformers. Talk about all this coming up. So the first thing I want to talk about is price. And of course, if you actually want to sell something, you have to price it well. The real true value of what your item is what somebody else will pay for it. What somebody will give you that amount of money to buy your item. Now, there's a lot of factors that play into it. A lot of people say, check eBay, check completeds, check sold, that's it. But there's a lot more to it in my opinion, so if you want to get a good gauge on market price and market value, you want to look at completeds. What did they sell for? You also want to look what's in stock now, like what are people selling them for now, and how many are available. Let's get into this. We're looking at Omnigonic Spinout, and the reason for this is because this figure was once $100, maybe $150, I don't know. I got mine on sale for 45 bucks. Now you look and you see current 2020, what have they sold for recently? Only 3 appear within the last 2.5, 3 months whenever eBay cuts them off and deletes that information. But looking at this, you see one sold for 20, probably broken and missing parts or whatever. One sold in good shape for 50, and then one a little bit more than 50. So if you're going to price your Omnigonics, I'd say 50 sounds good. So then you get to look and you see, okay, there's only 3 figures here. So there's only 3 options that are available. One person selling for 50, someone else 68, someone else 89. And for this, I would guess the 89 is sealed, I'm expecting. And then the other higher priced one has no box. And so depending on all of these factors, I think these are priced sort of reasonably, but I don't think any of them are going to sell any more than 50. That's just my personal opinion. But with only 3 of them out there, there's still very little demand for this. So in order to help drive up that demand, you need to lower that price. Looking at the other end of the spectrum and my little formula for what did they sell for, then how many are available now to buy, and what are they going for? What do they sell for, okay? So looking at this, they're selling for around $500, $600. I mean, some of them have sold for $700 or $800. It just is what it is. But looking at this is a reasonable expectation between $500 and $600 for Fans Toys Stomp. Now, not sure why that one's going for so much, because you can get some of the other ones a little bit cheaper. But anyway, right now is actually a really good time to sell any of your Masterpiece if you're selling. Okay, looking at this, here we have some that are bids and auction. So here's another thing. Like, I always look at buy it nows are the best way to go. But I usually get the raw end of the deal if I'm a seller and I throw it up at an auction. A lot of people don't want to spend a certain amount of time, or Monday at 8 p.m. I want to be in front of my computer or my phone. The reality of it is people want to, if they get the urge to buy it, they buy it then and there. By next Monday, they might not care, or they might still care, but they might forget. But anyway, so this thing here, it's showing that a Stomp's bid up to $525 with 4 days to go. But you could turn right around and buy one from China for $600, $559 plus $100 shipping. And then it shows down there's one, someone wants $1,000, best offer, US seller. So all over the place on this Stomp. I would probably say, hey, I throw mine up for about $700, make offer, or whatever. I hear that this thing has sold, people have sold theirs for over $1,200 on Stomp. Next up, I want to show you a Polygon. Now, here's the thing. Polygon was a $150 figure when he came out, right? But since there are so many of the MP36s around, and the KOs, 5 different KOs, and all that stuff, this guy's taking a hit. I still think he's a great-looking Megatron. He has his problems. He has his faults. We're not getting into that. we're getting into price here. So it looks like one sold for 50 shipped, and I'm sure it costs at least $10 to ship that guy. So there it is. So between $50 and $60 is what this thing's going for. And we see people asking $50 to $100 for it. So really, there's not going to be buyers for that price. I mean, you're really going to have to sell this thing for $50 to get the buyers in there. Now, I've seen some sell for $100, but those are sealed in the package. And I think everything is worth more sealed, even a transformer. That's my belief. That's just the way I feel, but there it is. So a lot of people struggle with this. They paid $150 for it, just like I did. I'm not selling mine for $50. I actually bought another one for $40 because I thought it was a good deal, and I still think he's a good figure. He's just not the best Megatron out there. Another place that people seem to get an idea in their head of a price is looking at Amazon. And I gotta tell you, that's the worst place to look for a Masterpiece Transformer is Amazon. Let me tell you that. So when you look at Amazon and say Walmart and Target or any of the places that have online presence, but they allow third-party sellers, so individuals, to sell through their site, you're going to get this. You're going to get inflated prices. Now, I do think $270 for Road King is high. I also think $210 or $175 plus 68 shipping on Goose is high. So you're looking at, either way you slice it, like $230 for a Goose. Right now, that's still too much, in my opinion. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't watch the price on Goose that much. I got mine, I'm happy. But when you look at this, you always see inflated prices on Amazon, and that is going to lead to unrealistic expectations for a seller. So then you'll just get frustrated when 6 or 9 months down the road, yours hasn't sold. So I'm going to use this as a segue into where should you sell. Now, obviously, eBay is the first thing that comes to everyone's mind. Second would probably be Facebook. And then you have the Amazon and the Walmart and the Targets, like I discussed. And I'll discuss why those aren't for me. Mercari, Letgo, OfferUp, Etsy, to name a few. Those are places. So I'm going to break this up, and I'm going to start with talking about eBay. So, talking about eBay, when you sell on eBay, you're selling on the largest marketplace, especially for collectibles. And most people have an eBay account. Everybody does not have an eBay account. That's not true. Not everybody has one, but a large majority. So you're looking at millions of people with their eyes on your item. Now, that doesn't mean millions of people are looking for your item, but you have the largest marketplace out there if you go with eBay. You also have a very experienced organization, which has some flaws. They make mistakes. They make bad judgment calls. But for the most part, I feel that they have been very fair for both buyers and sellers, and they've been trying to please to make sure that they have good sellers selling on their sites these days. Second, I want to talk about Facebook. Now, here's the thing about Facebook. Most of the time, you're going to find people in groups, but you can list your item in Marketplace, carbon copy it to the groups, and that's a good way to sell. Heads up, on Marketplace, everybody expects it to be lower than eBay. I've done a little bit of math on this, and the expectation seems to be about 30% less than if they were to buy it on eBay, which doesn't really make sense because if you sell on eBay, you're going to incur approximately 14% or knock off of your price. So if you sell something for $100, then you're going to get $86 after your fees. For 10% to eBay, 4% to PayPal, and that's how it goes. Now, if you sell on Facebook, people expect you to give it to them for like a deal, the Fambro hookup, and get it a lot cheaper, but you're not saving that much money. I mean, you're not saving 30% selling on Facebook. You're saving about 10 because you still have a PayPal fee. And I don't recommend friends and family ever. But if you are going to use friends and family, a legitimate seller would say, hey, first time we do business, let's do the goods and service, and then the second time we do business, we can do friends and family. So next up, I would not advise the casual average collector that's only going to be selling 3 Transformers, 5, even 10 or 15, to try to even get involved with selling on Amazon, Walmart, or Target. The thing about that, being a third-party seller on them, that's a business. Those are people that are trying to move thousands of items, massive amounts of product, especially on Amazon. So a lot of people do make a lot of money on Amazon as an Amazon seller, and what they do is that they sell 6,000 of a certain particular item. They let Amazon handle it. So it works. But when you're selling your collection, these are not good options. I would not suggest them. So looking at some of these other options where you've got Mercari and OfferUp and Etsy and Letgo, and there's more of them than that. Even Craigslist, which Craigslist appears to be almost a dead platform these days. There are still people that use it, but it feels like a dead platform that is just infested with scammers. So I wouldn't suggest Craigslist to anybody anymore because for whatever reason, scammers have ruined that platform. But anyway, getting into this, the thing about these like Mercari and OfferUp and Letgo and Etsy, which I don't know a lot about Etsy, they might fall more into like an Amazon third-party seller, but it seems more like an eBay store. But with these, there are advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage to these is you don't have as many eyeballs on it. There's not as many users in any of these as there are with eBay. And another thing about them, the plus to this is that if you do go through the trouble of signing up and trying to sell on it, there is very little competition from other people. You might be the only person on Mercari or OfferUp that has your Masterpiece Transformer. That is a possibility. So with that being said, it might be a better option. The other thing about it is lower fees. Now, I don't know exactly what the fees are, but I'm hearing that it's a lot cheaper to sell on these and a lot better. In fact, it may even be free. Next up, I want to talk about descriptions. You need to describe your item well. So there's a couple of key points when you talk about Transformers, but the very most important key point, aside from is it brand new sealed in the box, everyone wants to know, has it been transformed? And that's information that needs to be in there. It has never been transformed. It's been transformed once and then put it on a shelf. I took it right out of the box, put it on the shelf, then I took it off the shelf and put it back in the box. Didn't even pose it. I mean, people want to know this stuff. So there's two schools of thought about the transforming aspect of these. Number one is if it's never been transformed, then it should be in pristine condition. But if it has been transformed, then some of the joints might be loose, there might be some paint chipping, somebody might have mistransformed it and stressed something along the way. Some of these figures will get a stress if you follow the instructions to a T. So some people need to know that. So that's one end of it. They feel like the value is a little bit lower if it's been transformed once. That is one school of thought. Now the other school of thought is, let's say you transformed it and you had no problems. That's like a trial run. Like you were QC number 2. You were the second QC guy on this, and now a collector has transformed it and it works, it functions, and everything's great. Good, I know I got a good one because I open a sealed one, it might have a broken leg right out the box, which is now a possibility. But that is an issue, and that is another point of view. And when you go to sell a Masterpiece Transformer, you want to point out any flaw. Does my hoodlum have the paint chip on the hood? Let me check. So that's serious. You need to point out every single flaw. Because when somebody gets it and you say, hey, it's pristine, it's perfect, or whatever, or you don't even say anything about condition, see, someone wants to know their condition. A buyer wants to know what condition it's in, and I look at it as, pick this thing apart, anything I can find wrong with it, take a picture of it, or point it out. Just point it out, and that way, both parties know what's going on. Is it priced reasonably? It's a little bit beat up. It maybe should be a little bit cheaper. Who knows? But be upfront. Last thing you want is the buyer to be upset about it. So the next thing I want to say is pack it very well. I have seen some crazy stuff. I've gotten some crazy stuff. I've literally gotten stuff show up in shambles because of the way it was shipped. You don't want to ruin an extremely rare figure. Some of these figures are so rare, we may never see another production run of them. And there's only a few in existence, and the few that are in existence are already broken. So if you have a good one and it breaks, I mean, that would suck. Not just for, okay, well, I got rid of it, it's not my problem. Well, still, there's not very many around. Case in point, the Quiet as T. We're not supposed to ever get another Quiet as T ever made, right? If we get another Quiet as release, it should have a different color scheme or something. It's the only time they're ever going to make this color scheme. Theoretically, never again. That's what I'm hearing. So, some collectors throw away their box. So what if it's not packed well? There's a chance you could break this thing on the shipping. And to break such a beautiful and rare figure. It's actually reissued. It was issued in small quantities. That would just be terrible. So I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of a overview on selling Masterpiece Transformers. Does anybody else have any great advice for selling figures? And I guess you could say for buying also, because really we're doing the same. We're all collectors, we're all buy. Some of us sell, some people have never sold anything, and that's got to be a huge collection. But let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe, and Teddy Hanger out.